Hi there, this is Nilson Lima, and just to tell you about the post that you want to have a widget interface showing your current weapon ammo, and how to do this in C++. This is a first-person shooter template, and I have created here a small HUD just to give it this. So you see that I have placed two text blocks. This is this one here as a text. So one just to hold this string here, and the other one he'll feed the value. See that this one, it will hold the value. There is no binding function here to keep this value here, and see that there is no variables. I can go here to the graph. You see there is no variables, no functions whatsoever. Sorry, just the widget elements here, the simple ones. And what I will show to you is very practical, because if you think you're working on a large team, you have artists working on your user interface, so they can embellish it the way they want. All they want to give you as I will have an element to hold this information, and it will be called like this: text current weapon ammo. It is the same you can see here, and he'll give you the elements in your screen that you receive data from your C code, and from there you just know that whatever you do, you don't mess for whatever the user interface specialist is doing. You could have this string being part of this value as well, but why you do send from C++, the whole thing, that's the only changing is this one. See that I have also anchored both texts here at this spot. So the most dummy you can do your user interface, the better. You have less worries about where the things are being changed in the screen elements. So I know there is no code here changing anything. So if it is not here, you have only two choices: this being changed in a blueprint or being changed in the C++ code. And you can make this a standard for whatever you do. I don't know if your shooter will be a standalone or multiplayer. You have to understand that whatever place you have the information you show in your HUD, you have to understand that like if you are in a level and you teleport to another level, meaning you open a completely new level, all the information you have in your first person character will be lost, because you don't carry information unless you have a database or any other marketplace asset that is holding your properties and transferring to your character. As a standard, you don't keep data that is sensitive. What is sensitive data? Data that someone can build a hacking tool, edit memory positions in your PC, at Windows, and change like the value for the ammo. So if you store locally in your first person character, this guy here is running in your client. It means running your PC. But if you were talking about a multiplayer, it would be unfair that you somehow hack your code to show more ammo than that was available to you So usually the game mode is the place when you place the rules. It is responsible for spawning your pawns and placing them into the level. And at the game mode, you also can establish things that will be run at the server that is holding the match. And there, your client, every time he needs to, if I shoot, a code will run into the server, you decrease your ammo and send back the value that you have to display here. But it has to be handled by the server, because you don't want someone hacking your client. So this is something that you need to learn the techniques, because this is fundamental for multiplayer games. If you are in a standalone game, then it is hardly you can be safe from hacking. And another thing that you need to care about is when you are teleporting from one map to another, each values you need to carry from one map to another. This is handled by the game instance. Game instance is a class. Usually here's in maps and modes, you have somewhere else here, down here, game instance. You can create your own class, okay, to be superposed to this one. So you inherit it all from the game instance. So if you like create here a new replacement class, you can come here, game instance. So you can choose here game instance, and you create a new game instance class. And you can set there at your project settings. And then you can handle all the elements, because game mode can be accessed by any object in your level. Once you teleport from one level to the other, the game mode is destroyed and a new one is created. So to avoid this, you have to have a way. The game instance is created when you first run your application, and the game instance is carried over any level you carry on. So back to the subject. Later I will post in the forums a link for a course at Udemy made from a guy that was from Epic staff, and it's a very cheap, and it's for multiplayer gaming using C++. It's very useful, that course, and he'll tell you about many ways to do the same thing we are doing here. So first thing, created this here, and we have to access this in our C++ code. So back to C++ code. I didn't create any other. This is basically all the files you have created once you start the first person template in C++. And these are the changes I made. From here, I just make this a device that I'm using. I'm holding at the game mode a widget that will be used for any player in the level. And from here, I added this guy here, this include. So in the begin play, I can do this. I'm referencing this guy here. It is the one we created. Add your content browser, and note that it's not just the name, that is dot, repeat the name, underline C. This is the proper way to handle the address for that asset. So here you are creating let's say the string, and we are using this try load class as a user widget, and you receive a U class type here. So I can get that P widget and I can create the widget using this template, which is the same. And I get in the game instance. Again, this is available everywhere your code is running. And you are placing this U class here. Notice that I am putting an if here because you have to make sure this will not be a null value. And I also tested the widget for nulls here. I can, at this point, since I have a U user, I can add to the viewport. And now, since we are running, when going from this, I can get world. It is also accessible for any class. In the means of this is like an behaves like an actor class. So you have get world inside, and I can get the first player controller. And from this one, I can get the character attached to it. Again, I test for null. And since this inside this code, I know already it is the class I need. It, in this case, is test with a character. I can make a cast here, and I'm getting this widget I have created here, and I placing a reference inside your character. Okay, why I'm doing this? Because I need to know it is the widget I want to change the values at the character. This is not optimal, but we'll do. The best way, as I have explained, is to make several functions inside the game mode, providing a way to change the ammo, and you do for you easily. But as you were starting doing this on the character, and I'm sure later you make the course, you'll see that the best way will be a different one. In the character definition, I have just made this change here, and I have placed at the bottom two properties. One, it is the widget HUD. It is the one we are accessing here to place the reference, and an integer holding the current chamber ammo. This value will be in your weapon, if I'm not mistaken. So I place it here. Could be at your weapon code, but again, we are talking about C++ object-oriented language. So objects have roles and responsibilities, and you have to make the proper task assignment. It means who is responsible to get to the game mode and ask to update the chamber ammo. Okay. Again, I am digressing. You have to check this at the course. In the text UI character, we have to set few things. You need access to the game mode, blueprint user widget, text block, because this is the name of this guy here. It's called the text block. So I included the .8 here. It's not included here, so you have to do it right here. And the widget tree. Every time you have a user widget, you have built inside it a tree, meaning all the childs, in this case here, our big guy here, it have a canvas and two text blocks as childs. So it make a hierarchy, so basically a tree, and you have to search through this tree for the the guy you want, it is that text block holding the ammo. And the constructor just assuring that is a null there at the creation. This will never happen before begin play for any class. So you're not like overriding the widget HUD here if it was set already by the game mode, because and at this spot here your character have to be already created or the game mode will not find it. So in this case this code won't work if you are simulating. So simulation will not work for this because it's not a character you have attached to your player controller. So it won't work in this case in simulation. So you can see only running. And in begin play for your character, I have placed this little guy here. So if we are not null, you create here an f name containing the name of this guy here. It is the same as top here. Okay, so copy here and you paste here. Then you have to create a text block. So widget HUD, as I told you, every widget have a widget tree inside. So you can point it directly. You don't have to check it if it is written. It will always be created. And you ask a find widget for this name. If your text control is not null, means you found this guy. So you can now use the sectext function. And I created here from a string, and the string from an int, it is the current chamber ammo that we started right here. Okay, and this guy here, as it is a U property, you can change it in blueprint outside. So we follow this, and you see that if I click here on your first person character, you got here ammo S30. You can place here 45, doesn't matter. When you run, we have our widget set. Okay, okay, it works as it is. You compress this little project here and attach to the threaded form so you can follow it. And this is how I would do the setting for the HUD, but definitely I won't set this with the first person character for the reasons I have explained it. You have to control this, and when you fire, the decrement of this value here should be handled by the game mode, and you have to make sure that the game mode inside the code inside the game mode has the has authority. It is a condition that you place. It means that the code is running on the server. If you are running a standalone game, you to consider as the standalone game is the server as well. So you run. Again, you have to follow that course because it is the best way to do the right decisions. When you are starting a project, it is better for you to understand this, because if you have a game already coded that much, you need to redo a lot of work. It's very frustrating when you do this. So this is my advice to you. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Stay subscribed in this channel, because every time I release some videos about a lot of things, so you can know several other subjects. This is my first video on the C++ subject. Each I know a lot, but I really don't do this. My efforts are like towards the complete assets with is not much gameplay, so more VX, effects, and assets like the oceans and clouds. So gameplay is not my thing, but I do know a lot about gameplay as well. Just is not my focus. And see you next time. I hope that has helped you a lot and have learned something in the process. Thank you.